Hello everybody and welcome back to part 3 this time of my playthrough of Final Fantasy 2 on the Pixel Remaster collection. When we got off last time, we've managed to make our way to Salamand. We've got a lot of the bestiary done, but I'm still looking for one specific creature, which in this instance is the Queen Bee, which I've still not been able to find. So I'm still going to be running around for a little bit, just healing up and leveling, showing some stat increases while we hunt for it, but hopefully you'll find it a lot quicker than I do. There isn't any other enemies, I believe, that can spawn in this area. But what I'm going to do in the meantime is just level up some of the extra equipment we've got on each character, because there's no reason necessarily just to have them leveled up with one weapon type unless we are going to commit to only using that one throughout the whole game, which in this case I'm not. By the end of the game, I'll probably end up having each character equipped with two things. The only one I've got that's preset is Maria. We'll probably end up only using a bow this game. But everybody else will change as we go through. But no reason to set Minwu to use multiple different types because we're not going to keep them around forever. I'm not sure if there's a set area that the Queen Bee does spawn in. So I'm going to be wandering around these few areas, both up and around the front of Mythril, just to see if there's a specific place that will spawn. But yeah, we'll just change between weapons as we do fights, because every fight or two will probably max out our weapon to the cap that it can get to at the moment. But yeah, as I said, as I showed last time, Mythril is all the way down there, and there's no encounters you get on the water. So we'll just be wandering around for a little bit and trying to find the last enemy. I didn't realise the spawn rate for it was this low. I thought the spawn rate would be a lot quicker to find, but apparently not. Soldiers are the best way to rank up your weapons here because they're the toughest and the highest ranked enemies that we can fight, but you're probably going to be capped at level 3 or 4 on your gear. Which is a bit disappointing, but there's not really much we can do about that. Vampire Thorns, haven't seen them in a while. I'll skip out my entrance and exits of the town because you don't need to see that. We're just going to keep looking for the enemy that we're trying to find, the Queen Bee, or the Queen Bee, not Queen Hornet. Rejig around the equipment again, just to see what people can have that they haven't leveled up yet. And just continue looking for the Queen Bee. So just a little bit further jigging. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to, just because I'm doing it doesn't mean you need to copy exactly what it is that I'm doing, but it is an option for you if you so choose. Man, I'm really hoping we get to it soon, or I'm going to be skipping a lot of this section out. We'll just skip out the whole bit as it is. I've had a big wander up the top into the trees, and aha! Finally! Right, this is the Queen Bee. It's an upgraded version of the Hornet. It's purple, and I believe it can poison you. So be a little bit aware of that. Annoyingly, we got ambushed in this fight, so they're going to take a lot of hits into us. But we've got fire magic, so we can just multicast this on everybody. That's a quicker way of clearing out this engagement. And we're up to fire 3, so even multi-hitting this does enough damage to clear out all of the Hornets. A single cast on the Queen Bee will take it out, and there we go. Good MP increase on Therian as well for casting. And like that, we've got all the bestiary enemies that we're looking for as of right now. So I'm going to head on quickly back to town, restock and jig up anything that I need. But otherwise, good to go to the dungeon. So that's the inn. Healed up, let's just buy some gear. I definitely want the teleport tome. You can pick up the warp tome as well if you want it. It's definitely one that will come in useful later on in the game, and I'd recommend grabbing the life tome as well, just because it's a cheaper way of handling resurrecting people without having to spend 500 gil on each Phoenix down. Because that's not cheap. You can go out and grind gil obviously, but we're not at the point in the game where we have a huge excess of gil. The weapons shop, it's got some nothing new that we can have, the same as the armor shop. but if you want to pick up some fresh items, depending on how much gil you've got, feel free. As I said before, bronze armor, no improvement over the copper cuirass, so no reason to make that switch. And then the item shop always throws me because I can never remember which order or which way round the characters are. Definitely pick up some more antidotes here. Probably pick up more than I did of 5, but feel free to grab when you think, because poison is something that we'll experience probably the most in this game as a status ailment. Thankfully it's not quite as bad as it was in Final Fantasy 1, but it will still do damage to you every turn. So something to watch out for. So now we're just going to head all the way around to Semet Falls and get ready to go inside. As I've said before, Minwu's got a lot of different spells already learnt. So he can do a lot of different things. And he's got Teleport, which will be something you can use... Excuse me. He's got Teleport, which is something we can use to deal with the captains that we were otherwise unable to deal with in Finn. And it can just get rid of an enemy based on if it's a successful cast. Ideally, you want it up to about level 5 to 7, I believe, to deal with captains. But as a quick thing, I'll show you now. We're going to have a walk over to Finn. You can potentially skip this. If it's not something you want to do, I'll have a timestamp in the description of when we proceed into Schmidt Caves. And if I can figure out a way to have it pop up on the overall screen as well, I'll do that. But I've turned off the encounters just to show you that we can do this. You can get quite good items from defeating captains, but it's not anything you necessarily need right now. And not too far into the game, we'll be able to deal with captains anyway. But I forgot to save before going in. As much as the game auto-saves, I'd much rather have a manual save ready to do this. So head in and just interact with the first character, the first captain you can. And then everybody can attack or do whatever. And the thing we want to cast on Minwu is the teleport spell, targeting the captain. He immediately goes first this time, and there you go. Captain's gone. And you get gil, and they will do item drops as well, which is a way that you get the flame bow, and I think there's some other really good weapons you can get for the other classes. And then the captain is immediately still there, because when you interact with the overworld ones like this, they don't despawn. So you can do this as many times in a row as you want. However, with teleport being level 1, that was very lucky. I skipped a bit ahead there because there was something I was quickly checking and doing. But yeah, here we go again. I'll show you. We'll level up some spells, and we still get one shot. So the captains are definitely not something we can deal with at this point in the game. Even Minwu gets one shot. And even if we can slightly damage them, as you saw with Firion, not enough to take them out. And it's unlikely that we will damage them. It's kind of we need a crit. And that bow attack there is something that a lot of enemies will do in the game now. It does a lot less damage. As you can see, the captain only did 40 damage compared to 300 when it hits. But goblins and stuff can do this to us, which you may have already seen. So I'll just reload the save. And yeah, that was me showing you that we can deal with the captains technically at this point in the game if you use the teleport spell. But it's not anything they'll drop that you necessarily need. It will just make the game a little bit easier if you manage to acquire like the flame bow and whatnot. So turn the encounters back off, and I'm going to head all the way back to Salamander. Or Salamand, should I say, sorry. And then we're going to proceed into Semet Falls, which should be the majority of the rest of this episode. I'm not sure if there'll be much else after that, but we'll soon find out how long I end up having this one go back for. I have this whole route there back and forth just to show you the way we're going. If you want to copy me and follow me, this is probably the only time in the game that I'll use the encounters off ability. Not something I like doing, but it definitely does speed up the game. And then we'll get ready to proceed on to Semet Falls. As soon as I finish checking off everything, everybody's equipment is mostly fine and we're all healed up, because we recently used the inn before we travelled back. And yeah, Blink is also something you can use to try and deal with the captain, especially if you want to try and level up a weapon just by hitting them and doing nothing, because it makes your evasion go up massively. But The problem with that is every time the captains do hit you, it will kill character, so you'll be sat there for ages casting life spells and whatnot. But yeah, let's get ready to go into Summit Falls. All the boosts are on, as I expect, just ×2 stats. Not stats, weapon and magic. So here is Summit Falls, and there's going to be 5 enemies you would be looking for in this area, one of which we have already encountered. And one of them will be a boss, and another one is one as long as you find all the chests we will get. As you can see, there's an interaction point here, but we can't currently do anything with it. We'll be back here soon to deal with this one. Soldiers, and we've already dealt with. So there's also quite a few chests in this area we want to go and grab, the first one being in the top left. So just follow the way I go around the keep. So first chest, top left. Still no new enemies encountered yet. And the next chest is in the bottom right. There's only 2 chests on this floor. So the right I'm taking here isn't the right way, nothing along here. We want to go down this 1x1 section. And then the right side is the chest, and the left side is the stairs to go further into the dungeon. So pick up this one, head all the way back. We get the amazing encounter rate that this game has, and down the stairs straight onto floor 2. So there's going to be 3 chests on this floor that we're going to be looking for. But just head around the only way we can go. So the sprinter does spawn in here, which is one of the encounters you may be looking for. First chest is in the top left over here. You can always do this trick as well. It shows you where all the chests are. So as you can see, there's one in the left, one in the center middle, and one in the bottom right. So we'll go grab the chest over here. Another sprinter. The one directly in the middle, so chest 4 in this area. And then in the bottom right, we can go and get the 5th chest in this dungeon. Just a nice way of keeping track. And then you may have seen that there's 4 doors in the top right. This is a mechanic a lot in this game. A lot of areas will just have random doors sprinkled around. One of them will be the correct door, and the rest will take you to encounter rooms. Aha, so here's one of the enemies we're looking for. Balloons. Basically designed off of the bomb, but this is the lower tier version of it. I don't know if these can self-destruct, but as we go up, later ones can. There's just an attack that will hit the whole party. And some of them can cast magic as well, but I don't believe the balloon is at a level that can. But yes, as we're following on from that fight, there's going to be 4 doors up here. Now the one we want to go through is the leftmost door, but the other 3 will all take you to encounter rooms. So these are just rooms that just look like this. They're a big square, and they will have a much increased encounter rate. So technically, if there is something you're looking for fight-wise, you can just run around in these and you're likely to encounter it, should it be able to spawn on the floor that you're on. But yeah, all the other 3 of those are all encounter rooms. And then this door is specifically the one we want. So it takes us into a small little route where we just want to proceed forward and go down the stairs. Yes, feel free if you ever want to level up, grind XP or gil, those encounter rooms are always one of the best ways to do it. So this floor has got 2 chests, one directly south of where we are, and then one over the other side of that bridge on the left. No new encounters, but the soldiers with a lot of goblins there, so some magic to take them all out. So chest, just more gil. Now we want to go and grab the other chest. And as you may have saw, there's 3 more doors in the top left of this area as well. Again, we want the leftmost door, and there's another door over here that's just an encounter room. So go down and over the bridge to grab this chest. Still none of the encounters we're looking for. Everybody's in an okay state. Maria's health is scaling a little bit less than everybody else's, but she's also in the back line, so taking less damage, which I think will limit how much it increases. And the doors here, the one we want is the far left one. And then here we go. This is where we're going. I believe that's Paul, And he's got Joseph's daughter, or the person that Joseph's looking after, and a bunch of people that have been imprisoned that have been kept down here. So here's Nelly, and then Paul, which we've seen Paul a couple of times at the rebel headquarters. He's the greatest thief. So Virion, it's you. Am I ever glad you're here? This is Joseph's daughter, Nelly. I think that dastardly Borgen's been holding her hostage. Princess Hilda told you to bring her back some Mythril, right? Well, that's normally where this is. I figured this is where the Mythril was. So I thought I'd get the jump on you guys and grab the Mythril before you could get her. Only I messed up and got caught. Me, of all people. Well, I know when I'm in over my head. So long. Thanks for saving us. I owe you. So he'll just take Nelly back to Joseph. And that was our entire game plan of being in here. But we can continue searching for the Mythril that he came to try and get. So exit down those stairs in the room. And in this one there's another chest we want that's in the top left. Other than that, we just need to go to the bottom right. So just cross over the bridge, grab the chest that's up here. Still looking for a couple of new enemies. Over the bridge here, and we want to take the one that goes north to loop all the way around to the entrance to the exit, which is the bottom right. But yeah, it's not the easiest place to read. There's a lot of dead ends in this cave. Routes that you can take, like I've just done. There's no way there, and there's no walls you can just walk through. Just make sure you keep everybody topped up, because an ambush fight, if you're on low health, could be a problem. As long as you're over around about 50% health normally, you should be in good spirits. I don't think I mentioned this, but if you're obviously have finished all the encounters in this area or whatnot, or just aren't looking to fill out the beastry to the level I am, or don't want the encounter rate I do, feel free just to turn the encounters on or off. It's a feature in the game for that exact reason. It's there to be used if you want to. I will just proceed through as with a massive amount of encounter rate. So in here we can go all the way along the left and up to the top right to grab the chests. So there's 10 chests in here total. Finn we obviously haven't grabbed everything at because we'll be back there later. And there's 11 chests in this area, so we're almost at the point where we get them. There's one we'll have to come back and get. We will cap at 10 on this route around. And make sure you're prepared before we go and grab this chest, because we're going to get a pretty solid fight before we open it, or when we open it. And all the doors in here, other than the leftmost one on the right hand side, is an encounter room. So feel free to ignore these. That one up here on the far left. So yeah, just make sure you're healed up and ready. You've got enough MP to cast a couple of spells, do a quick save if you need to, and we're going to fight a land turtle, which is basically it's not a boss in this point in the game, but it's very, very tough compared to everything else we've been fighting so far. You can do magic on it, but its armor is pretty high, so we're not likely to do that much damage to it, if any. Magical spells will probably be the best way to go through it. Just casting fire and thunder between 2 or 3 of your party. And then Minwoo can always do that, or heal everybody up if needed. Depends on who you want leveled up, to be fair. And then just do multi-hit cures on Minwoo, just to keep everybody topped up. I would have liked him to have gone last, after the turtle, but oh well. So yeah, we go from doing 0 to 20 damage with our physical attacks to doing 80 damage with our spells, so there we go. But even doing 0 damage with attacks does give you the ability to level up your weapons. But there we go. And then we got a teleport tome from that. So technically you don't need to buy one earlier. I completely forgot this is a chest that gives you one. But yes, it's never a bad thing to have multiple. And then we've got one more enemy I believe we're looking for in this area. Because 2 more enemies we're looking for in this area. Sorry. One of which is an auto encounter that we will just get. which I won't spoil that one, but the other one is the green slime, because we're looking for slimes again. And we want to go through the leftmost door. This is just an encounter room. But yep, just going to see if I can encounter the green slime just before we finish the dungeon. And there they are. You can hit these with physical attacks. Definitely best off to do magic. As you see, they're going to be very, very physically resistant, as are slimes and jellies and all that in all of these games. But magic will absolutely do them in. There we go, and Maria's leveled fire up. I believe that's level 4 now. One thing that took me a while to notice in this game as well is you'll notice as the spells level up, so does the animation of them change slightly. And here in the left room is going to take us to the 10th chest, and we've got somebody to fight prior before he lets us get to the Mythril. And this is a sergeant, which is a downgrade from the captains, but an upgrade of the soldiers. This is something we'll fight as a regular enemy later on in the game, but right now he's a lot tougher than the land turtle that we just fought. Again, very physically resistant, so you can go away attacking, which is also a way to quickly level up your weapons, but magic will definitely be your best way to deal with this, especially because he'll hit us very, very strongly. So feel free to just switch to casting Fire and Thunder if you want to, or Minwu doing a one-hit attack that will cover it all, but if you want to level up your weapons, just spam attack. Just make sure you keep yourself topped up. Just speed it up now. We've done a lot of attacking. I don't believe you can level up your weapon more than once in a row as well. Once per fight. Should probably be going with Fire over Thunder because of the level of the spells, but yeah, why not? I believe this is a boss that has about 400 health. So it will take a little while for you to cut through him, but he shouldn't be too difficult as long as you keep your health topped up reasonably high. I think the maximum you can hit for in a single attack is 60, which is when he's using the bow attack. Yeah, 49 there, which isn't too scary. But yeah, magic will slowly take him down. And Minwu has the MP to just say, I'll heal up anybody that takes any amount of damage. Hopefully your evasion rate will be slowly getting higher as well. Getting him to hit you is never a bad thing. It will up your HP, your evasion, and whatnot. Yeah, we'll switch to fire because we've got higher level fire spells now. And I would like this fight to end. So fire 4. Nice 100 damage, would do a quarter of the health he would have had, so yeah, it just takes him out immediately. But we've leveled up Thunder. Might get 3 Thunder level ups, one on each of the characters, so we'll have to see what happens there. And yeah, we've just got a load of level ups on the weapons as well. So we're up to level 4 on everything significant. Didn't get any spell level ups though, unfortunately. I was hoping Thunder might have leveled up. Good amount of gil, and then we'd get the 10th chest in this location, which gives us Mythril, which is the key item that Princess Hilda sent us here for. And that is us on 10 out of 11 chests in Summit Falls. There is another one we'll get, but we can't quite get it now. And then so we're just missing one here and a couple in Finn, but these are both ones you will get at a later point in the game. And then as for the bestiary, if you've got everything I've got, you should be at 13? 14 if you've also dealt with the captain, as you saw that I did. But that is one that you may not have at this point because you don't have to have fought them yet. Or at least fought them and survived. Teleport, this is why teleport's such a good spell. Use it, and there you go. We're straight out to the top of the cave at the cost of using the character who used teleport's health. The spell is non-lethal, so if you ever want to level it up, you can do this right here. So just walk back into the dungeon, use the teleport spell, go back outside. And you'll be... Maria is now on 1 HP, but she will never die from this. The spell will never do that last 1 tick of damage. So if you want to level up the spell, which I'm just going to make it level 2, just why not? I'm going to keep doing this with her. And thankfully, because it's level 1, it only costs 1 MP for her to cast. And then once we're done, we'll just heal her back up. And then once we're done here, we just need to head back to Salamand. So there you go, finished. Teleports up to level 2. So feel free to do that for as long as you want, or with as much MP as you have left. And it's a good way to level up cure on somebody as well if you need to, because you can just cure them, go back in, teleport, cure them. There's numerous ways to level up spells if you want to spend that time doing it. But yeah, now we're just going to head back to Salamand. And then after Salamand, we're going to want to head back to Poft, where Sid and his airship is. But we could do with resting up first. So just head all the way along. Feel free to head into Salamand if you feel like you need to heal up. Otherwise, just head along here and south into Poft, because there's an inn here as well. Depends on how rough you feel some of the encounters are being. But if you've been keeping up with the same rate I've been, you should be completely fine. One thing to do before you enter any town, you might want to just cure on your characters just to level your cure spell up, because an inn's going to fully heal you anyway, so you might as well get a little bit of XP on the spell for it. So in Poft we can speak to Sid and get a flight back to Altair if we so wish, or you could walk all the way back. It's up to you. Depends on whether you want to spend the gil or just walk back, whichever you find easiest. If you want the encounters or just take the hit. So now when we leave this area, there should be an airship that's appeared above the town. There it is. Just enter it the same way we did the boat, and it will take us all the way back over to Altair. And now we want to go and speak to the guy in the weapon shop, give him the Mythril, and then we're going to be able to grab Mythril weapons. But yeah, we're at a good stat rate for everybody now. Everybody's accuracy is pretty high, so they're going to hit the majority of the time, not necessarily all of the time. So a bit of new dialogue on all the characters because of what we've done. But into the weapon shop, not speaking directly to the weaponsmith, but speaking to this guy here. I'm trying to remember what his name is. Tobal, that was his name. So he just asks what we want with him, but if you go to key items and then Mythril, he goes, yes, that's the Mythril I've been after. He's been wanting to work with it, and he'll start making us a bunch of gear. I believe there is Mythril armor as well, but the weapons are the main thing that we're going to be after. And don't bother buying anything from Minwu, because we're reaching the point where he's going to leave us. So there's no reason to buy him some gear that he's then not going to use. So there's a new guy now on the left. We can buy Mythril gear for them, so I'm going to grab one of each. The mace isn't necessarily for Minwu, but it's the fact that I want to have one because I might level maces up on somebody else. Sadly, no Mythril longbow, but alas, we will do better with something else. So you've always got the judge of if you rate accuracy or damage higher. It's kind of up to you, but your accuracy with weapons as you use them will slowly increase. So not a worry to have. You will eventually start being able to just hit everything. And that's all we need to do here. Now we can pop back to Poft, and then from there we want to head to an area called Bafsk. But yeah, we've got all the chests we can get at this point in the game. If you want to go and speak to Princess Hilda and Gordon and that, there is some new dialogue you can get, but you don't need to go there yet. So head on over to here. We're going to have a quick rest up. And yeah, we've already taken the boat, so it's not here for us to use, annoyingly. But yeah, you could have got the boat trek along here if you ever use it to come back. Otherwise, these pirates are all just going to sit here and be like, nope, no boat, sorry, we just live in this town. So head on up and around the way we just previously were. I don't even think you had to come back and hand in the Mythril yet, but it gives you the new gear, so there's no reason not to. Lots of encounters. The encounter rate in this game is definitely one of the more draining mechanics. I don't enjoy cutting all this together. And also, if you rather see all the encounters fully, as opposed to me just cutting them all out, feel free to mention that. Happy to edit it in the way that works out best. It's just, I'm in the case of, I feel like only seeing the major encounters or the first of each encounter is the best one to see. So yeah, go speak to Sid's Underling and book passage to Bafsk. I believe that's how you say it. And then go grab in the airship, and they'll take us all the way over. But this time he'll just drop us off and leave. And you may have spied something just north of this town. That is something we're going to have to go and deal with a little bit later. But in here, there's a lot of characters we're going to want to speak to, and there's definitely 2 spells we want to obtain. That being Basuna and Suna. One of them cures things that occur in battle. The other one cures things that happen outside of battle. So Basuna is the one that I believe cures status effects that wear off at the end of battle, and Asuna is the one that cures stuff that persists, so like blind and poison and whatnot. If you can get both of these up to level 6 as well, that's the key thing you'll be looking at, but I don't think to grind for them right now. The advantage of those kinds of spells are at least when you cast them in battle, and this is the case for every spell you can cast in battle, you don't actually have to get rid of something or cast or heal HP for the spell to gain XP. The spell just needs to have gone off. So a lot of characters in this will say that there's a Dark Knight that's around and he's been handling the building of the Dreadnought instead of, I believe it's Borgin. Or Borgin's come in to replace him and everybody doesn't like it. So we're going to do a little bit of digging and find out about both, as well as try and stop this this Dreadnought that they're building. But yeah, a lot of characters we can speak to in here. There's Borgin. What's this? Back to work. Work, I say. He thinks we're just a regular worker. So basically, he's treating all the citizens and stuff like slaves. They were much happier when the Dark Knight was in command. But yeah, down here is the White Mage shops. This is the shop where we want to pick up Basuna and Asuna. Nope, just Basuna. I should be picking up Asuna as well, but make sure you pick up at least one of each. Or I did pick up one of each. I think my movement was a little bit quick for me to notice there watching it back. Feel free to get it on more than one character if you wish. Fear I wouldn't pick up. It's not really one you'll need. And you're also going to acquire a large collection of tomes later on in the game. I think Therian will always be my backup caster, but we'll reach a point in the game where Guy will probably be my will probably take over Therian as my main backup caster, as well as probably having Cure level up the most, because I like keeping Maria around as if I need a spell cast this turn or while we're doing a dungeon, she's got MP ready, whereas Guy is kind of just there to cure as and when you need. So silver cuirass is available now, just a flat increase over the bronze armor or bronze cuirasses that you would have already had, because it ups the defense by 5. Magic defense stays the same, so feel free to pick some up if you've got enough gil. Potentially worth one on every character, but you don't have to. Your stat changes will only be minimal. They're just nice because they only have a magic interference of 1. So there's going to be a character down here in the bottom left, and that's the character we need to interact with. General Borgins took over. And he's telling us some stuff that he shouldn't. And then if we tell him, ask him about the Dreadnought, he just says that he knows that we're the ones trying to destroy the Dreadnought. And he notices that people might notice that we're talking to him. Why that's a problem I don't know, because I assume they talk to a lot of the civilians here to get them to do work. But here we go into Bafsk Cave. And there's going to be quite a few chests in here we're going to be looking for. Or say quite a few. There's going to be 3 chests in here we're looking for and 1 new enemy. And those aren't it. And thankfully 3 of the chests are straight. Are pretty simple to get to. As you can see there, the first chest is directly ahead of us. And the next chest is the bottom left. The next enemy we're looking for in this area is the zombie. Don't need to go that way, need to go down here. So there's the zombie, and I already had auto fight on, so he just immediately got taken out. As they will, but they hit a little bit hard, and I believe they can cause paralyze. The upgraded ones definitely can. I can't remember if the lower level ones can. But nothing new in here that is strong enough for us to start leveling up our stats with. But if you've maxed out your weapons again, feel free to swap them around on each of your characters. No harm in having them all level up multiple things. You don't have to have Maria level up as a bow. I just like having somebody in the back line that takes less damage, and a bow is perfect for that because you still deal the same amount of damage even if you're at the back line. That's why I gave her life and the healing spells, so if something ever goes disastrously wrong, hopefully she'll be alive to try and fix the day. This next chest is in the bottom left, and then we want to take the stairs to the right to proceed up to the next floor. Managed to level up on all our weapons again, so there is some stuff in here that's a little bit tough enough for us to go. And then up here, there's only really one route you can take. So just go right and loop all the way around to the stairs, and the last chest will be in that room. Make sure you don't take that zigzag step, because that does lead you to a dead-end wall. A lot of encounters in here. Thankfully, we're able to one-shot almost every enemy, so we don't have to get too worried about healing up in between fights. Yeah, just leveling everybody up with slightly different weapon types just to keep things interesting. Proceed on and around. More encounters, followed by, you guessed it, more encounters. Time to switch around again, because you'll hit the level cap on weapons after only 1 or 2 fights, which is both a blessing and a curse. And then here we go. This is where we meet the Dark Knight. You're too late, the Dreadnought is complete. I've been working behind the scenes to see the project through to completion. End your resistance, kneel before your Emperor. It's the only alternative left to you. Consider what I've said. When the time comes, you'll change sides. And then there's Borgum. Looks like you came all this way for nothing. See for yourselves. And then he just walks off laughing. And then we're going to pop out to see the Dreadnought take off. It's a weird looking airship, but apparently it's the main magnum opus they've been looking for. And it's just going to bomb the few cities left that are standing against the Empire. Hopefully the rebel hideout is okay. Don't really want to return back to all of our allies being dead. And where Borgum and the Dark Knight have gone, I don't know. I assume they managed to get on the Dreadnought before it left us. Some more zombies. And then the last chest we want is out in here. And open the chest and we'll get the key item, which is a pass that we'll use for something later. There's also going to be a little teleport square we can use on the right side here. So rather than needing to walk all the way out of the dungeon from the way we came, you can just step on this, interact, and then it teleports you to the entrance of the dungeon. Or in this case, straight to the entrance of the town, because the dungeon was in the town. Now, we need to head all the way back to Poft. in order for us to head all the way back to Altair to catch up with the rebels. So head up and around. There's the Queen Bee we were really looking for at the start of this episode, or I believe it will be as part of this episode. And we can take the airship to Altair. So yeah, as you can see now, lots of damage, and a lot of the civilians in each area are dead, and the characters will mention it. A lot of the houses are damaged, but you can still use the facilities. Seems everybody inside the buildings were fine. It's just a lot of the NPCs that were outside the buildings will be will no longer be there, and some NPCs will mention that there's characters that are no longer there. But yeah, head into the bar, and we'll want to take the airship all the way back to Altair, or you can walk it. It's up to you. But yeah, you don't need to speak to. No, you do need to speak to Sid now. Speak to Sid, and then he'll teach you about the Sunfire, which is what powers the Dreadnoughts. We're going to do something with that. So you can tell us about the Sunfire, and if it gets set on. If it gets a little bit too excited, overpowered and whatnot, it will blow up the whole area, and then yeah, just speak to the other guy and book passage to Altair. Head on out, interact with the airship, and it will fly us all the way back. And as you saw, Altair was one of the locations that got bombed as well, so as we go inside, a lot of the area is going to be damaged. I like how it does that little black indentation in the four corners of your screen as well, just to show that this area is not in the same state as it was before. And yeah, everybody that was outside is now missing. But head straight into the rebel headquarters. And then there's a lot of new characters in here. So these are going to give you suggestions of like, go speak to Sid to find out what we could do about the Dreadnought, but we've already skipped ahead to do that. But yeah, they're basically just going to say like the Dreadnought's done a lot of problems and we need to take it out. And Prince Gordon's missing, so I wonder where he could be. But thankfully, and somehow the hideout took no damage, so everybody's safe. And the king's still around so far. It's the first time we spoke to him, I think, since we lost Scott, so he's just mentioning about the fact that Scott's gone. And yeah, we can ask him all the keywords again as well. It's been a while. I don't think we've ever done this with him, so there's just a couple more bits of dialogue you can get if you want to. But the main bit we're doing here is we need to go and speak to Hilda, ask her about Sunfire, and get some information about, to proceed to destroy the Dreadnought. So nope, we don't stand a chance to the Dreadnought. Yep, they say, obviously the task is more than we can handle. We couldn't deal with the Dreadnought, although we tried our best. It was just, you know, they had finished it before we could possibly do it, or destroy it. So speak to Hilda. She'll tell us what happened. And apparently the king is soon to die. So the king is going to get some help from Minwu, so he's going to leave our party. As well as start healing up everybody that was injured. Not that we meet anybody that was injured, but they'll keep mentioning to us that there were a lot of people. But our party's back down to 3. Interact with Minwu again. She immediately says her father is better, somehow. And ask her about the Dreadnought. And then ask her about Sunfire. So, somewhere in Kashkan Keep, there is stuff about the Sunfire. But the flame that we need to get isn't able to be just grabbed from nowhere. We've got to get some special torches in order to stockpile it, and I wonder where we're going to be able to get that from. So now, once we've spoken to her, we need to go and speak to the king. A little bit back and forth here. Minwu, yeah, just says there's nothing he can do. Speak to the king and ask him about Sunfire. He'll mention again that it's at Kashkan Keep, and Scott knows a bit about it. And we need the goddess's bell to break the seal to get into the keep. So make sure you learn the goddess's bell And then you can ask the king about it, but Keely, you need to ask Hilda about it. It's just another password that we need to learn in order to get them all. But I don't think this one's missable. I think these are ones that we have to get. So back to Hilda and ask her about the goddess bell. So ask goddess bell, and then she knows that Scott and Gordon know about it. And it's in the snow cavern. But unfortunately we don't have Gordon with us, who would have immediately known how to go and get it. But Joseph, who we have met, and if you remember, Paul helped save his daughter Nellie. So he's probably going to be within our debt if we go and see him. But yeah, that's it. Next area we need to go back to is Salamand to speak to Joseph. And he will join the party. So you can either walk all the way back to Salamand or take an airship or the boat, whichever way you would prefer. I think I'm going to walk all the way there because it's not too bad. But feel free to make the choice that you find easiest or best. Obviously, flying or taking the boat will save you a lot of time. You can canoe to skip a few sections of encounters if you want to. But with the encounter rate in this game, you're definitely going to get a lot on the way there and back. If you don't know where Salamand is, it's the northernmost city that we've met so far, or we've been to so far. So I think I'll get to Salamand, and then that will be it for this part. So just follow the one route around. You can't easily get lost, and you can always open up the map which tells you where the locations are. Just a little bit to the left, and we're back at Salamand after this fight. So I hope you all enjoyed this part. We managed to get through a few dungeons in here and proceed with the story a little bit. We're getting ready to fully take out the Dreadnought now. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again in the next part. Goodbye.